afternoon from Los Angeles and welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. Now on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the charts of Applied Materials as well as Coupa Software and Generac. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. It's Alyssa Corum here, joined by Justin Nielsen, and the roller coaster continues.
Right,
this time we're going up. Today we did close higher strongly across the board. The NASDAQ up about 1%, and the S&P 500 and Dow also turning in sizable gains. But what do you make of this action today, putting it in context of the very bearish day we saw yesterday?
Yeah, it's just a lot of back and forth. There's the uncertainty with trade. You know, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and what it's ending up doing to the markets is we've got this support level at the 200-day moving average line, and we've got this resistance at the 50-day moving average line. So at this point, it's kind of made this narrow range-bound market, and it's a matter of who's going to break first. You know, are we going to break above the resistance, or are we going to break below that support? And until one of those happens, it's really going to be difficult to see which direction. This is a trendless market, and those are notorious for being the most difficult to trade. So you really have to be careful out there.
Yeah, that actually seems kind of crazy that we're stuck between those two bands there, like, and it could be a really good week later potentially, or it could be really bad. But so the fact that we don't know, and there's all of this volatility and risk, means investors need to be on their toes.
Yeah, and so we do have on October 15th when the tariffs are supposed to go into effect, but a lot of people are looking at that as, hey, you know what, they're going to come up with some kind of deal before that. Could that make things move? Or are we in a situation where now people are kind of discounting the whole China trade thing? They've gotten used to it. This is the new normal, and that news might just not move things as much.
All right.
So
we'll
see.
Yeah, we will definitely have to see. But let's take a look at some stocks, starting off with Applied Materials in the semiconductor equipment group. Now, this name is setting up, trying to form a handle here after hitting a little bit of resistance at a cup breakout.
Yes, so we got the cup, and it did actually get above there, but sometimes you will still form that handle, and that's okay. It kind of sets up another level of resistance for you, and so this is a setup, and it's very important that even though there is this uncertainty in the market and we are still in uptrend under pressure, that you still keep your watch list fresh.
Right.
And so this is a very good setup. One of the things we're looking at a lot is those high relative strength stocks, and this is one of them. The relative strength line on this has been phenomenal. You've got a group, a lot of semiconductors that are doing very well, and this is one of the top ones.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely important to look at some of those technical indicators as well as how the group is doing to provide context.
Right. Now, on the earnings side, this is one that, it's a cyclical stock, as semiconductors tend to be, and so that's one of those things that we kind of discount a little bit for some of those cyclical names, and so we're actually a little bit okay with the fact that the earnings growth has slowed down, and that's something that we kind of expect with the chips.
Yeah, very good point. Well, now let's turn our attention to Coupa Software, which gained about 5% today, retaking a prior buy point, but explain to our audience maybe how they should be looking at this, because it's pretty choppy action after the breakout. So what does that mean then for the validity of the buy point?
Yeah, so we've got kind of a tale of two cities here. We've got on the plus side, that yes, this was able to retake its buy point, which is good. Its relative strength is high. That's good. But you see that the tight action, this very orderly base, this was actually coming out of kind of a rarer ascending base pattern, and a very orderly base, and then it kind of starts slopping all over the place. It did undercut that prior base, and then it was able to come back. Now, Coupa Software, really, when you look at the computer software enterprise group, phenomenal run, and then it got hit very hard. Coupa didn't, so as volatile as that is, it's actually not that bad compared to a lot of the other members of the group. And sometimes it's the last one that gets hit that can be the first one back to new highs, like Coupa is potentially here, and that could be your leader again. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point. I think a lot of the leading software stocks, elsewhere, not necessarily enterprise software, but CyberArk, kind of rolling over, and enterprise, Twilio, also below its moving averages. So I think the fact that we are seeing this one hold up, it makes it a good one for the watch list.
Yeah, exactly. Watch list is what we're really trying to build here at this point. Stay engaged with the market so you're not just falling asleep because the market's going through this range-bound pattern.
Exactly. And last but not least, let's take a quick look at Generac because what a move today, up over 9% in heavy volume. It has earnings coming up in a couple of weeks, and this is a nice move off of the 50-day line.
Yes, and this is actually the first test of the 50-day line, since its breakout in, I think, around May or June. And it had that very strong breakout. I don't think it's quite showing up on the chart here, but very strong breakout from there. This has been moving this entire summer, which it broke out around 60 and now it's trading at around 80. Now, of course, there was a catalyst today because a lot of people are looking at the PG&E kind of, saying, okay, we're going to shut down power to a number of areas in California because of wildfire risk. They're dealing with a bankruptcy, and so they have to kind of protect themselves from not having more wildfire risk that they get faulted for. And so what is happening is Generac providing generators is something that's kind of benefiting from the inclement weather that happens.
Yeah, and that's actually a great segue to a little anecdote that we have about one of our podcast guests, David Ryan, who came on the show. And actually, if we could turn over to a weekly chart of Generac, when Generac was still forming this base, he was talking about it because he lives in Malibu, and when Malibu area saw the fires last year, he needed a generator. Yeah. So it goes with that whole buy what you know theme, and it's one that has really paid off.
Right, and so this exactly. So for people that were watching the podcast, this should have been on your radar back in May before the breakout out of that range of around 60. So he did tell a very compelling story, and I mean, kudos to David Ryan because he was jumping on a webinar for us while dealing with hosing down his roof and stuff like that in the
dedication.
back while his, staving off the fires at his home.
Yeah, but essentially with the move today, this could either be a chance for existing shareholders to add to their positions, or if you're aggressive, maybe initiate a new one?
Yes, exactly. So again, this isn't quite the market that
That's
I'd be
the broader
super aggressive.
Conditions.
But if you did have this stock and you've held through it this entire time, which it kept on going up, so it was held by the 50-day moving average. This could be an add right here, or again, if you're feeling very bullish on just the company itself, which a lot of people are, that might be something that you're kind of saying, okay, I'm going to go with this because it's counter-trended so far, and I think that'll continue.
All right, well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that one as well. And speaking of the podcast, which we just mentioned, clearly our guests and our host, Arusha Pierce, another guest, frequent guest here, are providing really great insights, so you definitely don't want to miss it every week. We have a new episode that drops every Thursday, so you can head to investors.com/podcast to subscribe for free on your listening platform of choice. We have another great episode this week, and you should also check out our reviews on iTunes and see what current listeners are saying about the show. You should definitely check it out. And also
add a review if you're
and add your own review, of course. Also, it is free access week, so make sure you check that out at investors.com. You can get access to all of our premium features for free and no credit card required. What is your favorite premium feature, Justin?
Well, the big picture. I tell people that's one of the things it's worth the subscription right there, because just getting that insight to the market every day, ideas of stocks that are moving, I feel like that's the one right there that most people should start with to really get a feel for the market.
Definitely. And with that, you get what the market direction is. So with this choppy market, I think it's been kind of hard to decipher, okay, wait, are we in correction or uptrend under pressure? What's going on? So we have all of that for everyone right there.
It gives you the distribution day count, follow through days. It gives you the context behind all the moves. And, you got links to all of the other things that, can kind of steer you in the right direction of what's happening.
Yep, and our stock list to make sure you keep your watch list fresh. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching today, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.